Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are?
Hey, hey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, so I've been seeing a lot of like videos and interviews on that I'm proud of. I'm actually proud to see these videos on mental health and anxiety and all these other different things that people suffer through or deal with, because I relate to it so much because I have anxiety. I have really bad anxiety. Not bad, I can't say really bad anxiety. I have anxiety. And sometimes it triggers depression. Sometimes, yeah, it just depends on whatever the thing is. But my brother, he's schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not bipolar or anything like that. My brother is definitely schizophrenic. So I don't know if, God forbid, God please, I hope it's not hereditary mental illness in my family, because I don't think I've ever had to. I don't know any other people for real who dealt with it in my family, but my brother for real. And I just don't want that for my kids or my nephews and nieces. My nephew and niece. So it is something hard to deal with day in and day out. I'm trying to figure out now what my triggers are. I feel like I know what my triggers are sometimes, but as far as my anxiety goes, as far as depression, my depression, how it feels, it just goes in and out. I really don't know the source or what happens with that, or why it feels like that sometimes. Sometimes I just feel dark and I just don't really want to be bothered for real. And yeah, before whoever's watching this saying, why don't you go see a therapist?
Apparently I need to get a shrink. How can therapy take care of me when I don't give a fuck what niggas think?
So something, I did go to therapy at one point in time. And I don't have any money. It was hard for me to, I know, actually therapy was actually, I thought it was doing good for me somewhat. But it's the stuff that outside of the therapy that I was like even trying to talk to like my family about, and the energy from talking about it just wasn't something I could deal with, and it kind of like pushed me away from actually to keep going. I'm definitely interested in going back now. If anybody knows in Columbus, Ohio, any black therapists, they don't even really got to be black, but culturally aware therapists or black therapists that I can talk to, or like an office or somewhat, please comment below. My Instagram is Leron Crowder. That's LeronCrowder. You can send it. I'll actually put that on my on the screen right now too. DM me or whatever, because I want to go back to seeing a therapist, but I don't want to just go to any therapist. I need somebody who actually understands me, not me, but my environment, upbringing, like stuff that I would have to tell them. I just would rather somebody who understands it, because I know how talking to people who don't understand something can come off. It's just not conducive to the goals I have of maintaining a healthy and peaceful lifestyle.
I had to go to a professional because friends are great, but they have too many stakes involved. And a lot of times your friends, because they're not professional, they just want you to be fixed.
That I need for the sake of my family. So, yeah, man, anxiety, it can make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. You can start seeking unhealthy things to cope. You know what's funny about anxiety though? I've always had it. As I sit and think about it, I've always had anxiety. It's just that you just don't think about the anxiety for real, because everybody around you has it as well, so it seems normal. But I think a lot of people that came up in my neighborhood or in my environment or where I'm from, they have it too. They just don't understand it, that it's not natural. It's not something that you should be living with. And you never really feel that or see it until you're away from that environment and see how everybody else lives. So, so I started to peep that, and I definitely understand a little bit more now about why I feel the way, not why I feel the way I feel, but that the way I feel is not a healthy feeling that I should be having. But yeah, another thing, I understand religious people. I understand some spiritual people who say just pray and let it, just pray it off, and just pray and hope want better, and hope. It don't work like that. It doesn't. Yeah, I seen something, in fact, that Taraji P. Henson said.
So what are the initial steps to eliminate the stigma on mental illness in the
Open
Black community?
dialogue, first of all. You got to talk about
what we're doing,
because right now we're not talking about it.
Right.
We're not. We don't talk about. Pray it away. Prayer doesn't work all the time. You know.
You might pray and God might say, go see a therapist.
How about that?
I've seen a few things that people in interviews that combat that theory of just pray it away, or God is greater than your problems, or I used to be subscribed heavily to Christianity, so I get the faith aspect of it, but that don't work when it comes to mental spaces. Maybe if you need spiritual awakening, because it's not just a spiritual thing that you spiritually just damaged, so now your mental suffers, so now your physical suffers. I understand the correlation between it all, but it's not as cut as dry as people saying pray for you, or pray for it, or pray on it and let it go. It's not that simple. And I just want people to understand that when you tell people that, it comes off as condescending, or I don't want to say patronizing, but it comes off as if it's a choice that you're making at this point to be, or to feel how you feel, to be anxious, to have anxiety, to be depressed. It comes off as you telling people that they're making a choice to be this every day, and that's not anywhere near the case. So if you're one of those people, just be careful with that. Not only be careful, just don't do it, because that delivery, it makes people uneasy and it alienates people to not want to talk to people about their problems, which is why suicide happens, or which is why all these overdoses and drug problems and all this stuff happens, is because of the lack of compassion that people can have for others that's going through it. Now, it's not compassion. You may not be intentionally wanting it to come off like that, or that be the intent or the goal of what you're saying, but that is the impact. I always tell people it's not about the intention of what you're saying or what you're doing, it's the impact of what you're doing or what you're saying. So just be careful with that. But I was going through, I go through a lot of stuff, like emotionally and mentally sometimes, and socially. I alienate myself because it's just weird. Like, even to the point, like, with even my newborn.
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
Like, sometimes, at times, I don't even be wanting to be bothered with her for real.
You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Due to, like, a depression of just not want to be bothered. And with her, like, it could be a jealousy thing, like, of like jealousy of me not feeling like, I don't know. It's like my wife cares more about our kid or about her kids than she does about me or in our marriage or whatever. All types of stuff can come from the thoughts that I have about my kid, and sometimes that hurts. Like, sometimes I don't even be wanting to be bothered with her, and I'll be having to force myself to understand that my feeling is that I have. It doesn't really have anything to do with my kid. It's something that I have, that I gotta work through sometimes, or that I need somebody to talk to about, or whatever the case. So yeah, so I mean, it's all ranging, and I actually looked that up as well, and it's called paternal postpartum stress disorder. So it's PTSD, I think. So it's the same thing that women get, but fathers can get it too. Like, it's hormonal. It's like it's a lot of things that go with it, and sometimes it's embarrassing to talk about, but it happens. Like, it definitely can happen where you can have these emotions about certain things that could stem from a current situation, or it could stem from your past.
Well, you look nervous. Is it the scars? You want to know how I got them? Come here. Hey.
And that could be creeping up into your present life. So yeah, I'm gonna do a lot more of these type of talks about my anxiety and my progress with it, and just more topics, even some more centered and detailed topics of what I'm talking about in this video down the line. Yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with, mental illness, or mental health, I should say, because I'm not mentally ill. It's like my mental health is not as strong as it probably should be, especially as the head of my family, and it's not something that I recognized even before. I'm now looking back, like before I got married and even in dating, I could see things now that I didn't see before, that maybe if I understood then, I would probably took more time to understand what the issues were, or why I feel the way I felt. But before, again, I didn't have anything to compare it to, or I hadn't committed completely or fully to being married, because we weren't living together. It was like my environments were different. I had different vices. I had different ways to deal with anxiety that I can't deal with now. I can't deal with it in the same way that I would have as a bachelor. So I see certain different things now. So it's a journey understanding that about yourself and about people around you and your legacy, and like, it's just a journey. So yeah, that was on my mind today, because I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, and a lot of people like trying to understand themselves. And again, like, I've been to therapy, I understand therapy, and I'm not opposed to it. I actually loved going. It's just that I let outside sources kind of like push me away from going. Kind of. I let my anxiety of those outside sources push me away from keeping going. I let anxiety get me out of that. So I'm trying to get back in and figure it out as well, but reach some peace, and because it's exhausting. Like, it's just exhausting. Again, I'll be doing these more about anxiety and the different forms that I have and the different stuff that I daily deal with that triggers it. Once I figure out what some triggers are, and when I feel a certain way, I'll be more expressive about it on this channel. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments or tips for how you deal with your anxiety, if you have anxiety, leave them below. Let me know what you do. If you make videos on anxiety, please, like, let me know what good channels there are, so I can subscribe to them and just have more conversations about these things, because it's really imperative for ourselves and the people around us. So yeah, subscribe, comment,